I know, but Demmer didn't come back and say, hey, look, what kind of a hypocrite are you? You're the guy that voted for it.
But it worked. And that is, you know, one of several things that I found in doing a little bit of research and doing a little bit of Googling on the internet that I'm concerned about as far as an issue that Walz will use against you should you get the...
I don't think he's going to use it, but let's suppose he does. Are you saying that no farmer can run?
No.
I mean, that's because every farmer that qualifies for farm subsidies has taken them because you don't have a choice. If you're going to be competitive for rent, for buying land, for anything, if you're going to be competitive, you really don't have a choice. But go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is that is just one of many issues, many things that I found in looking that I think Walz, I mean, if I find it, Walz is going to find it, right? I mean, he knows.
They know.
And the way I just heard you answer the question when he said, how much did you get? I didn't hear a number.
Well, I don't have a number. I mean, I don't.
I mean, it was you know, it was not a good answer and not an acceptable answer if Walz hits you with that. So.
Mike Perry said it was $650,000.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So is this where the question is coming from, the Perry campaign?
That's what he said when he came here to meet with us on Monday, you know.
Is that so? So the question is coming from the Perry campaign. So here's what you have to consider, okay? Do you want to say that no Republican farmer can run for office? Is that what you want to say? All right. And really, when Tim Walz, politics is really about the battle of ideas in the public square. It's not? Of course it is.
Not anymore.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Politics is about the war of ideas in the public square. That's what it is. You have to win the war of ideas. And when the Democrats come and attack you for taking farm subsidies, when Walz is the person who voted them in office, they don't have a case. I mean, they are hypocrites. If they criticize you for accepting the program they voted in. Okay, how many people here are on Social Security? Okay, how much, should I ask you, how much have you collected from Social Security and suggest you are a bad person because you accepted Social Security? Is that what we're talking about?
No.
I mean, sure it is. If you're taking a government subsidy...
Well, I think most of us would tell you how much, and that'd be the end of it. And you haven't done that yet with your figure for your farm.
Well, I honestly don't know, but I'm not going to... You know, I don't keep track of it. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I think the difference is they're saying that if you don't like the spending, why are you accepting the spending? Right? It's different for them because they're okay with the spending, so it's a different platform. Do you know what I mean? So well, that's what they're holding you to.
It just, you know, it just doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't compute because farm programs have to be on the table along with everything else. I'm going to be the first one to say that. Of course, they have to be on the table, but you have all kinds of. I mean, how many of you accepted financial aid when you were in school? Joel, did you accept any financial aid when you were in school? No, you're the exception. How many of you accepted financial aid when you were in school? Okay, tell me, how much did you get?
We shouldn't be so personal.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is the issue. The Democrats, including Walz, are going to try to get off on personal things rather than the issue of the out-of-control debt. This is their game. And if we give in to their game, we have lost everything. This is their game. Okay? The issue that I will constantly put before the public is that this is what our debt looks like. Congressman Tim Walz says the way to deal with this is for the federal government to spend more. If you think that's the right answer, vote Tim Walz. I am saying to you, the way to deal with this is we have to shrink the size of the federal government. We have to cut back to spending. We have to get federal government spending back to 18% of the gross domestic product. But let me repeat, the strategy of the Walz people is going to be to try to get off on personal stuff rather than deal with the issues. They will lose on the issues. My job as a candidate is going to be to focus on the issues. That's where we win. Yes?
I just, the other day I went on this ride and with one of those four-wheeler Yamahas, you know, and I went and got to look at the Bear Lake Dam, and the guy who owns the land route, he's a farmer, he owns a lot of land in that Bear Lake area. He's a big Republican, and he was saying, why didn't we have some of these farm programs during the 80s? He felt that America would be stronger if we had more farmers rather than less farmers. He said America would be more conservative if we had more farmers than less farmers, and he feels bad about the way that how long the rural economy was moribund and up until, you know, some of these programs came around. And so, I guess what I'm saying is, don't you think if you say farm programs are on the table with everything else, that might look good in the long run, but are you worried about what southern Minnesota thinks about the short run and what it does to the, if you take farm programs off the table, won't that change?
Excellent question. But farm programs do have to be on the table. And let me fast forward a couple of weeks from now. Because a couple of weeks from now, I'm going to be at Farm Fest, and I'm going to be on the panel of Farm Fest. And Farm Fest is going to have, I mean, on the audience, there are going to be a lot of farmers who, like me, have taken support payments from the government. And I was at Farm Fest 2 years ago, and I want to just tell you basically what the panel there said. By the way, I'm going to talk about the panel that consisted of the leaders, in this case, of Farm Bureau, Farmers Union, pork producers, cattlemen, wheat growers, corn growers, soybean growers, and the like. Essentially what they said was this: we are going to do everything we can to protect our programs. Now, I listened to that, I heard the discussion, which was quite anemic, and then I asked this question, and here's the question. I asked, look, it's like the federal government is a big train, and we all own a car, or part of a car, on the train. And it's like we're here talking about how we're going to protect our car, or our part of the car, on the train. The problem is, the train is going over a cliff. And how much good does it do us to own a car on a train? Look at the chart. That's going off a cliff. The threat to agriculture isn't losing subsidy payments. The threat to agriculture is financial collapse on the part of the United States of America. Now, I want you to know that is my message to Farm Fest. That is my message to people who have been receiving subsidies. Okay? That is the message. And we as a country are going to have to decide if our political guiding guideline is going to be how we can protect our part of the take. We have lost our country. We have to be primarily focused on how we can protect the financial viability of the United States. And that gets at the heart of the success of the agriculture community. But if we aren't willing to solve this problem, then no amount of farm subsidies are going to make agriculture sound. We are wasting our time. Question? Tom?